Hello, good morning, or good afternoon, or just hello and good day, whatever it is that you guys are up to. Let me, perfect. Push all the things. Ooh, let's see if I remember to make the screen bigger. Then I can read comments. Haha, look at that. Doreen, good morning. See, look at that. That was so much easier. So, how's your weekend? What's shaking? What's going on in life? I got to go golfing again. Still terrible at it, but I got at least a couple good swings in. So that made me feel a little better. And then we got rained out. So that's okay. Coupons for next time. So I can keep trying at it and keep trying to improve. It's so delightful. So Mondays, where this is one of those yin yang videos, where we kind of mix both worlds together, that typical more of a flow-ish class or a movement-based class. I don't want to say flow because I don't do any like vinyasa in this. Mixed with a little restorative. So you get the best of that. The restorative side of yoga is known as that yin yoga, which is like a real class, a real thing. But there's also restorative, which is even more gentle than that. So I like to mix in a bit of both of those and then a little bit of movement to get moving, get grooving, and all of that good. Oh, you had a great game? Oh, sweet. We need to chat later about where you go golfing, because where I went has a decent amount of like little ponds, which is really beautiful, but the mosquitoes, oh my goodness, that was next level. So later, let's message and we can swap tips about all of those good things. Okay, so if you're just kind of joining in, we're gonna do some yoga. Grab a mat. I would suggest also doing, I don't know if you have a block. I was hoping to do some supported bridge today. And so if you have a block, a book, a pillow, a bolster, a cushion, a blanket you can roll up, an extra mat you could use, those are all great tips and tricks. If you don't have a block, any of those would work. Just something that's a little bit softer, because we're gonna just put it under the low back and then put body weight upon it. So something with a little bit of squish is nice. So make sure you have a block handy for today. Real nice, real good, or something like that. Excellent. Well, let's get started. I'm just kind of eager to dive right in, and I feel like my lighting is real bright. So before I get too much into it, I'm just going to adjust that and go from there. Usually a -5 is good. Today is a -6. Okay. Excellent. And then phone on silence, because you never know. So with more of this gentle style class, let's start in really any position you want to. Seated, laying down. I visually start seated, but I love to start laying down. When I teach in a studio, I start laying down and I can just chat into the open air around you, but I just feel like I like to be a little more engaged on camera. So you're welcome to join me in a seated position. It can look however you want. You can join me laying down. That's real nice too. You get some nice connection of the spine with maybe a harder surface than what your bed would be, like your floor or the mat. Get some good feedback there. Maybe you feel some movements through the spine, little cracks and pops or adjustments. Feels really good. It helps build in some of that awareness. So as you're finding that position, start to explore. Maybe try something new. Maybe you've done it the exact same way every time, and here is your opportunity to play around with a little creativity and try a different version of your starting pose, your starting shavasana, whatever that might look like. And whatever position you do find yourself in, just make sure you can find a little bit of space. Make sure you can maybe roll those shoulders back and down, create a little openness through that collarbone. Making sure you can take that nice big inhale. A good exhale. Working through, maybe we start to scan through the body, noticing what feels really open, what feels really good, Maybe even noticing those areas of tension and tightness. With this little scan, I really like it because you can start to build gratitude for those areas that feel good. And when we start to have gratitude in our mindset, then we can start to really just change the world. Like, gratitude is one of the most powerful impacts. And as I'm studying like emotions being stored in the body, emotions create chemical responses within the body, and they also have the ability to change the image of a cell or of water, which our body is mostly made up of. And gratitude creates the most beautiful cell structures of water structures, which is really quite fascinating. Like, it is outstanding. It just looks happy and thriving, whereas things like anger, regret, hatred, like they look jagged and ugly, and it's just so fascinating how that starts to impact just even the shape of our cells and the shape of atoms. Is really cool that like there's science behind something as simple as gratitude or negativity. And so yeah, just taking a couple of moments. It's good to notice the bad. I think that's important. You can't just ignore it, but it's also good to notice the good and having a little balance of both. So fun information there. Hopefully that encourages you this morning. If you need to move and adjust as you notice those little shadow areas, of course do so. Maybe you want to try palms facing up if those shoulders are really tight. Maybe take that exhale breath and use that breath to help soften and that let go. Even hearing a big exhale, like a big inhale, and exhaling, sighing it out. And still starts to help the body really relax. My dog just took a big exhale and hearing my exhale. That was cute. So maybe you want to set an intention now that you've scanned through the body, now that you've become aware of how you're physically feeling, or maybe even you went in a little deeper, noticing how you're feeling emotionally or mentally. Checking in there as well, not letting this practice just simply be about the physical side of things, but you're allowed to bring it deeper. And that's one thing I love about yoga, is you have that option. It can just simply stay physical, it can just be movement, but it allows space if you're brave enough to go deeper, or when you're ready to go deeper. So let's start to set an intention for our class today. Now that we've scanned through, is there a little word, a little short phrase that you want to apply to your class, maybe a little goal, anything you choose? Sneak a little sip of coffee or tea, whatever you got going on. And let's start to invite some movement back into the body. Maybe you start by just taking a nice big inhale breath, feeling the movement the breath takes throughout the body. Breathing in, feeling the lungs, the collarbone expands, the rib cage starts to open up. Maybe breathe down into the diaphragm, expanding through the abdomen. Take that exhale, feel everything draw back in, coming back in together. Take one of those nice big inhales, feel that openness starting to create throughout the whole body, not just even the front line of the body. Can you notice its effects through the back line as well? And take that exhale, draw everything back in, and then start to gently wake up through the body. Maybe a little wiggle of fingers and toes. Maybe start to roll wrists and ankles. You roll your neck a little from side to side, whether you're seated or laying down, just real gentle. I think oftentimes we forget about the neck. It always just has to stay strong, holding the head up. And if you are laying down, take a couple of moments, roll yourself up to seated. We'll try to finish class up on our backs today. We'll get some nice restorative postures in there. More of that yin style. Delightful. Still have something in mind, just a little sleep probably. There we go. So making your way up, making sure you can feel into those sits bones. Maybe you're sitting cross-legged, however that looks, or maybe you've got a leg out, both legs out. Getting comfy. Let's take a nice inhale breath. Let's get nice and tall, expanding the head upwards, pressing into those hips and sits bones to root down, to rise up a little taller. On that exhale, roll those shoulders back and down. Feel that slight engagement through the core, pulling that belly button in ever so slightly. Let's take a nice inhale and sweep those arms up with that breath in, reaching up nice and tall. Take that exhale, draw the hands towards heart center. We'll take just a few of these this morning, taking those inhales to reach up. Nice way to warm up through the shoulders and through the spine. If you want a little more for the spine, as you reach up, you can start to change the gaze going upwards. And then maybe even you reach those hands back. Head can tip back if you're comfortable with that, maybe just with control or loosey-goosey. Hands to heart. Reach it up. I'm going to take just one more complete one. And then reach up and hold nice and strong. I'm just going to interlace my fingers and flip wrists or palms facing upwards, just getting a little rotation through the shoulder. Nice and big. I'm going to bring my hands down to a T. Reaching out nice and tall and long. See, imagine if someone was pulling on either hand, helping you really lengthen. Can you feel that openness through the collarbone? Let's start to twist towards the left here. Really, either way, we'll do both sides. Twisting just with the arms open. Feel that little pull through the shoulders. Keep reaching. Left hand back or right hand forward. See if you can deepen the twist without needing to touch the hands into anything. Let's drop those hands down, pressing into fingertips, get nice and tall. And then exhale, maybe twist a little deeper, maybe anchoring those hands down. Maybe simply just change the gaze, going back behind you or over that back shoulder. Keep inhaling to lengthen, exhaling to deepen. So I don't often start at my deepest variation when I'm first getting into a twist. I let my core do a little work, and then I include my hands. And even once I'm pressing into my hands, I just kind of start a little bit, breathe it in, take that exhale, twist a little more. I'm giving the body time to find that openness and move with the breath, using that space that the exhale is creating. Let's take one more nice inhale. Keep lengthening up nice and tall. And take that nice exhale. Let's come on back towards center. So good. Roll those shoulders back and down. Inhale, reach those arms up to that T position, just coming up halfway. I've got my palms facing down, but you can do palms facing up. Should you prefer it, honestly, it doesn't change the pose, just changes your shoulder position within it. So I'm feeling palms down today. Excellent. That inhale to lengthen, the exhale to start the twist. Twisting in that opposite direction. Now keep pressing the legs down. Keep trying to keep those arms nice and open. Oftentimes, when we start to shorten one arm to keep it in our peripheral, keep opening up, squeezing almost through those shoulder blades. Keep rolling right shoulder back. So nice and strong. And you can drop the hands down, pressing into fingertips, finding that length. And then maybe you start to find a little depth, twisting a little more using those hands. And keep inhaling to lengthen, exhaling to deepen. Maybe to deepen, you simply just start to rotate through the neck, looking over that back shoulder. Letting it feel good, just a nice twist, just a little movement throughout the spine. Maybe you notice it in the hips, maybe you notice it in the shoulders. So exhale, nice and slowly, releasing, coming back towards center. Excellent. Nice big inhale, getting nice and tall. Exhale, and start to bow it forward, coming into your version of a forward fold or just a little bow, whether you just simply stay up really high and tuck the chin, or if you walk the hands further. Maybe you walk them out completely. The evenings before this class, I teach hot vinyasa flow. I worked really hard last night. I am feeling it this morning. We played around in plank pose and side plank. We stretched out shoulders and arms, playing around in downward dog to plank, repeating that. They're pretty fun. If you ever want to try one, you guys are always welcome to come to the studio. I will gladly love to meet you. Although, Doreen, I did get to meet you, so thank you for stopping in. Beautiful. Press into those hands. Start to walk yourself back up. So good. And then let's switch the feet, getting into that nice non-dominant side. You can use hands to switch your feet, or you can try to just switch the feet without hands, but maybe you might need to adjust using hands. Oh, I got it. That's nice. Bring the hands just onto the knees. Take that nice inhale. Start to look up, lifting through the heart. Exhale. Start to round through that spine. Like that nice seated cat-cow. Take that nice inhale. And start to just press up. Rolling those shoulders back and down. Feel that little squeeze. Keep trying to lift the collarbone. Like you're lifting it up towards the sky. Neck is still nice and engaged. Head isn't just flopping back. And exhale. Tuck the chin. Have a nice little round through the spine. Just going the other way. You can even press into the knees to get that little bit of extra. Take one more nice inhale. Looking up. Nice little back bend. Exhale. Rounding it through. So good. Coming back to a nice neutral position. Let's bring our arms back out to that nice T position. Just staying nice and gentle this morning. Tip that left hand down, touching it into the ground. Option to simply hang out here. If that shoulder's sore, you can bring hand down onto the hip. Or you can start to reach that arm up towards the ceiling. Maybe walk fingertips out a little farther to add some more depth. It's just a nice little side bend stretch, ideally feeling it through that right side of the body. Maybe you're finding some more length through those ribs. Maybe you add a little pulse in. The pulse lets me feel that between the hip and the spine. Some of those more major muscles in there. Knees can go up to keep finding that openness, rolling that top shoulder open. Getting that nice stretch in. You can either inhale, maybe lengthen a little bit farther, really reaching with that hand. And exhale, press into that bottom hand, come on back to that nice T position. Take an inhale, lengthen, get nice and tall. Exhale, roll shoulders back and down. And then start to press that right hand down. Left hand can drop hand onto hip. You can still get a nice side bend stretch here. The hand can stay at the T. Right hand just even reaching it up, reaching overhead feels so nice. Adding in that little pulse. Maybe the gaze goes upwards to roll that left shoulder open. Keep reaching nice and tall and strong. So good. Getting into that stretch, feeling all those sweet spots. Maybe you just notice it in the ribs. Maybe you can go a little deeper. Maybe you can notice it through the underarms, extending it along through the fingers. One more nice inhale, lengthen nice and long. Take that exhale, press all the way back up. Reach it out, so good. Let's bring the hands back behind us, interlacing at the fingers, actively pulling the hands down, find that openness. Beautiful. If you want a little more here, you can try reaching for opposite elbows, or even working your way into reverse prayer if you want to try that. Always an option, but it gets pretty intensive on collarbone and the shoulders if you don't got real open shoulders yet. They're still warming up, so I'm just going to grab onto my elbows. Is that Janet? Good morning, Janet. Yay, welcome. All right, she's co-hosting the yoga party with me. I didn't tell you that. I couldn't make you an admin on that page, but I could make you a co-host, so that's how that's happening. All right, let's take a nice big inhale. Lift through the collarbone. Exhale. Start to add that nice little forward fold in. Coming down, roll those shoulders back and down. So we have a nice flat back here. That's what keeping the hands behind us does. Helps us from hunching over. So if you want to intentionally roll those shoulders back and down a little more and extend the head nice and long, maybe you feel huge pull through the shoulders here. Just working on getting a little extra stretch through there. I seem to naturally be adding a little sway in. So if you want to find a little movement here, that's real good. If you're noticing that low backs are real tight, you can always just release the hands, give that back a nice little massage, give it some love. So good. One more nice inhale. And on that exhale, with control, start to press on back up all the way to seated. So good. Take a nice inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften. Delightful. And let's come into our all fours position. And we're starting to roll on over to that nice tabletop. Pressing hands in towards the mat, maybe stealing a little sip of coffee. Beautiful. Taking a quick little inhale breath, starting to look up, start to drop the belly down. And then take that exhale, tuck the chin around through the spine, press those shoulder blades up nice and tall. And then take another one, nice inhale, start to look up. Drop that belly down if you want that more, press into the hands, extend the head nice and long. And tuck the chin, press that spine all the way up as hard as you can, keep pressing. And then meet in a nice neutral position, nice flat back if you can, almost like you could balance a block on it. So good. All right, let's bring right toes out. Touch them down. Keep rolling that right hip down. So good. Let's add a nice little calf stretch in here. Just starting to roll back a little bit, almost like you're trying to touch that heel down. Just giving those calves a little bit of love. Nice little stretch. You can pulse it out or keep it more of a static stretch if you're feeling that nice stretch through there. Good on the ankles. Good on the calves, working with that back line of the leg, having that nice feedback from the floor. And can you notice all of your toes pressing in? Maybe you give all your toes a little wiggle and take a little look at them. Start to relax through that foot, send that foot up nice and high. Excellent. Let's open up through that hip, rolling that hip open. Now toes are pointing out towards the side. Maybe that right hand you're now pressing up onto fingertips to help stabilize. Still touching it in. If you want to work with balance a little bit, you can work on floating that right hand up. There we go. Nice inhale. Nice exhale. Bring that hand back down with control. And let's roll that right hip down. So good. Still keeping foot in the air, just feeling that connection of squaring the hips towards the ground. Let's take one more of those. Starting to open up through the hip. Option to hang out here. I've got my leg pretty high, just simply because I got a big plant there. You can keep it in line with the body, or you can really extend it up high, whatever you prefer. And then if you want to try the balance, maybe you just adjust the hand. Maybe it starts to float up. Maybe you reach up, opening up through the shoulders as well. Excellent. Nice inhale. And nice exhale, holding with control. Let's start to bring that hand down. Let's square that hip down, rolling it down. Excellent. Bend the knee and take that nice little sway from side to side, pressing the hips out, getting a bit into those IT bands. You can shake out the wrists if you would prefer. Just a nice little way to release. Excellent. Let's find that stillness. Coming to that nice flat tabletop. Have a little engagement of the core to activate into that low back. And then send the left toes back, touching them down. And starting to actively try to press that heel down. Adding a little movement in, or just enjoying the stillness of the stretch. Warming up a little bit through the feet. We've got all those connection points for connective tissue in our arches and in our feet. So this starts to get there. There's also just a nice calf stretch. Maybe you feel that along the back line of the body. So good. Start to relax out of that. Take a nice inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale. Start to float that foot up. Squaring that hip down at first. And then finding that openness, starting to rotate through the hip first. Bringing the toes pointing outwards and pressing into that right hand. Maybe left hand starts to come to fingertips. Maybe starts to float up. Maybe comes up all the way, opening up through the shoulders. You can adjust that bottom leg however you need to. Maybe you add a little flex to the foot, kicking out through the heel. So good. Let's bring that hand down if it's raised. And with control, roll that left hip down, finding how it squares towards the ground. Excellent, using all of that nice control. Let's start to open up through that hip again, finding that openness. Maybe you kick that leg up a little higher. Check the toes, make sure they're pointing outwards. Start to press into that right hand. Maybe left hand sweeps up. Nice and strong. Nice little gate pose. Take a nice inhale, pull the ears away from the shoulders. And exhale, start to bring that hand down and roll that hip down, keeping the leg still lifted for one full breath here. Nice inhale and exhale, draw that knee in. You can take that nice little sway from side to side. My sways this morning, I'm really feeling it through the sideline of the body. Oh, those hip flexors must be killer tight. All right, let's come to some stillness. And start to walk those hands forward. We're just gonna make our way down onto our front body, lowering down all the way. Excellent. Coming into our little Sphinx pose, bringing the elbows under the shoulders, rolling the ears away from the shoulders, extending that head nice and long. Bring those fingers nice and wide, maybe pressing gently in on the ground or the mat in front of you. So feel that connection of the arms, feel that lengthening through the spine, and then notice the pelvis. Try to feel that pelvis pressing inwards. Nice little back bend. Back bends are known to be energizing. But I find that lots of times, if we're new to back bends, we try to find that depth or that height through a back bend by crunching the vertebrae together. Where we're still trying to lengthen and give space to all those little jelly discs between the bones to expand and kind of suck inward. So as we actively create that little pull sensation into the hands, see if you can extend the head up a little higher. So that's adding that space in. And then as you press into the pelvis, press into the elbows, then you can add some more height or some more depth into that back bend. If you feel like your back's pretty open and you can go for a little bit more, if you're finding this really easy, then you can continue to press into the hands super hard. And as you start to float the elbows up, adding some more height into it. But at some point, you'll probably start to feel that little crunching sensation through the low back. It's a good sign that you're maybe not quite ready for that extra bit of depth. So just be really mindful of that. Keep pressing that pelvis down and maybe even engaging through the glutes. Glutes are nice strong muscles that will help stabilize here. So if you're feeling that, excellent. We'll take a few breaths here and then we'll bring our elbows back down. If you're still looking for more, you can walk the hands in closer towards the body as well. This is where I'm feeling good though. So I'll hang out here. All right, on my next exhale, I'm just bringing my elbows back down just so I can make this a little bit more restorative and relaxed through the glutes. I'm not needing to support as much through that low back area. Keep trying to find that length. And if you find the head getting heavy, you can bend at the elbows and simply hold the head, or a great opportunity for that block if you have one. Maybe you bring forehead onto the block. You can still be finding length. Keep rolling those shoulders away as you rest the head, relaxing. In our restorative posture, as we start to get into more of that yin side or the slower side of things, yoga really becomes more about the mind and the brain. The body is still involved, but oftentimes our busyness, our monkey brain starts to get in the way and act as a distraction, and we can start thinking about everything that is off of our mat. And so part of the challenge is building that discipline to stay in the moment of your practice. And this is where we are currently. And so can we simply just be here, letting everything else just simply float on by in our minds? I like to to imagine them as big puffy clouds. They're there, I see them, but I don't necessarily need to interact with them. Let's take another nice inhale. Nice exhale. See if you can relax a little more. And breathing it in. And on that exhale, let's start to lower down. Maybe you lower down, stacking hands, bring your forehead down, or maybe you look to your favorite side, and bring your cheek down onto the ground. If you want, you can bring hands alongside the body, if that feels a little better. I'm just trying to give that low back a nice little break. Hanging out nooch for a little bit. Lots of people like to windshield wiper here, so bending the knees and taking that little sway from side to side. Let's find that stillness of the legs, lowering them back down. So good. Excellent. Just move this up here. So my gaze is going towards the right. You can work with whatever side your gaze is going to. Just pick a cheek. Then I'm going to bring my arm just to a nice little 90-degree angle, bending at the elbow, trying to align it with my shoulder, and then having my hand go nice and straight out from there. Take a nice inhale, still lengthening through the spine. Exhale, see if you can soften through that shoulder. And then we're going to come into the same movement with the leg, starting to bring the knee upwards. You'll feel that little bit of external rotation as you bring that knee outwards. And then finding that sweet spot that works best for you. Not saying that the thigh needs to come towards that 90 degrees, just anywhere in there works. Maybe you really hug it up close towards the elbow, or maybe it stays a little longer. Take a nice inhale, and on that exhale, keep trying to roll that hip down, staying nice and square. Lots of times as we're getting into this, as we're trying to get too much depth, we'll roll over onto the side a little bit, and maybe even to the point where that knee lifts. So ultimately trying to keep that leg nice and connected with the ground. So maybe the leg needs to be a little bit straighter or farther down. Just play around with it. You'll feel that little sweet spot that starts really subtle and starts to kind of get into that inner thigh. And it's just a nice gentle stretch. Feeling that nice connection. Take a nice inhale and exhale, relax. Holding here for a couple of rounds of breath. Start to be content with the stillness, with the silence, letting the body find a little rest and restoration. And taking another nice full inhale, feeling that breath. Take that exhale, see if you can soften. Are you holding tension anywhere? Maybe it's in the face, the jaw, the neck, the shoulders, the hips, the feet. Beautiful. Whatever arm is your non-active arm here. For me, it's my left arm because I have my right arm at that nice 90 degrees or at that cactus. I'm going to bring that arm, reaching out. So I'm coming into that nice T position now. On that front body, we're going to get into a little shoulder stretch here. And so I'm going to start to press with my right hand, the one that was active here, same as my right side. I'm going to start to press in and rolling on to that left side of the body, using the foot now to help anchor and brace. You can adjust the foot as you need to keep rolling on. If this is really intensive on that shoulder, then you can start to come out of it. You can totally adjust. Maybe bring that hand a little closer towards the body. If you're looking for more intensity, the hand comes up higher or even goes into the cactus on the other side as you start to press in and roll over. So there's lots of ways you can control the depth of this pose and posture. I like to extend my leg and bring it behind me. Trying to plant it in and down. But your choice. It's easier to control the depth if you keep your foot in front and stack down. Another thing I like to do here, because I do like to bring my leg along and behind me, so if you're able to have freedom through that top leg, you can always bend the knee, maybe even reach for the foot, adding in a nice little quad stretch, pulling the ankle towards the sits bones, which feels real great for me today. If it doesn't feel great for you, option, if it's not painful, maybe you embrace the challenge or release it. Taking a few more breaths here. Taking those nice inhales and exhales. I'm going to start to release my foot just so I can focus back in on my shoulder. Taking one more round of breath here. Breathing in nice and big. Exhaling, starting to roll back onto that front body, releasing the shoulder nice and slowly. Maybe you reach both arms up overhead, almost like you're Superman, or you can bring both arms alongside the body, whichever feels better for you. I'm coming onto my opposite cheek just to give my neck a little variation. Just letting the body rebound and settle. Taking a nice inhale and a nice exhale. And then starting to adjust through coming into that little half crocodile or half laying down frog. And starting with the arm, coming into that nice 90 degrees or that little cactus, bringing the elbow in line with the shoulder, hand reaching upward. And then starting to walk that left leg out, or that opposite leg out that you did before. Bring the knee up towards the elbow, finding that sweet spot, but not rolling onto the side of the body. Keep the body nice and planted. Keep trying to keep that hip melting inwards. Or downwards, I guess. Option to have the foot really close in towards the body, or just start kicking it out maybe at that 90 degrees or a little further, finding that sweet spot where you want to work. You might feel this on the muscles of the inside of the knee. And start to invite a little softness and stillness. We'll be here for about 3 to 5 breaths. Feeling that nice connection. Taking one more nice inhale. Nice full exhale. And then slowly starting to activate into that opposite arm. Maybe you reach both arms out nice and wide, in like that T position like we come into for our twist when we're laying down. If you know already that your shoulder's tight, bring that hand in a little bit closer. Or maybe you know you want a little extra challenge, you can walk that hand up just ever so slightly first. My shoulder's feeling pretty tight on the side, so we'll just hang on in neutral. And then starting to press into that hand, into the leg and the foot, start to rotate onto that side. Maybe you keep that foot planted. My foot automatically wanted to kick back. Bring that hand either onto hip, tuck it behind the back, or keep it planted in front. Getting a nice shoulder opener stretch. Taking a few moments here before we add the quad stretch in. Let that shoulder start to feel that release of some tension, finding a little openness. Even here, you can adjust the hand up or down. And then if you're able to keep that top leg nice and open, it doesn't need to be planted down, then you can add a bend to that knee. Reaching for the foot, or if you've got a strap or a band, you can add in that nice quad stretch. Still trying to relax the knee down, pulling the ankle in towards the sits bones. Feeling the nice connection with the breath. If you need to task the mind, maybe you add a count to the length of the inhale. Maybe you add a count to the length of the exhale. Just starting to notice how long it takes to have a breath. I'm going to start to release my ankle just so I can savor a little more through the shoulder. One more nice big inhale. Nice full exhale. And let's start to roll back onto that front body, releasing that shoulder. Go nice and slowly. Option to bring the arms down or the arms up, your choice. See if even here you can take a nice breath in and a slow breath out. Beautiful. Wherever your arms are, return them to neutral, and then simply roll onto our backs, flipping over. Make sure that block is nice and handy. Roll on back and down. Planting the knees or planting the feet, nice bend at the knees. Roll those shoulder blades back and down. Feel that nice connection of all that surface area across the shoulders. Gentle little tuck of the chin, extending the back of the neck nice and long. Take a big inhale breath, maybe even lengthen, pressing into the feet just to elongate through the body. Exhale, feel that nice little engagement of the core, little tuck of the tailbone. Pressing that low back in. I'm reaching for my block now. If you don't have a block, I did mention pillows, bolsters, or even if you don't want to get up and grab anything, we can do this on stacked fists. So making little fists, and take that nice inhale breath and exhale. Start to just bring the hips up ever so gently, just enough to either tuck those fists underneath the tailbone or on the sacrum area, avoiding the tailbone. If you do have a little prop you want to use, I'm starting to tuck it under. I'm going to hang out on the low setting today, just keeping it real nice and gentle. This is a great way to find some openness through that low back. Lots of times as we're slouching, we have lots of compression that happens here. So if you have that prop, you can release the hands. Try and keep palms facing up. Encourage a little openness through the collarbone. If you're a side sleeper all night long, it gets kind of squished and compressed as you're rolling on your side. Then simply just hanging out here. A couple of different options you can come into with the feet. You can just keep them at a nice neutral, or if you want, you can walk the feet a little bit wider, letting the knees fall inward, getting some internal rotation in at the hip. Just being mindful of the knees here. Can be a little bit hard on them sometimes. So if you prefer, you can walk the feet towards each other and let the knees fall open, bringing the soles of the feet to touch. Coming into a nice reclined cobbler or butterfly pose. Getting that external rotation at the hips, a little stretch through the inner thighs. So good. Playing around with it. I even like to bring my hands interlaced behind my head here, opening up through the elbows. That feels really good as well. So your option to play around with arm position. It can just stay alongside the body or under those hips. Feeling that nice connection out of the breath. Feel some good softness. We'll hang out in this version for another 5 to 7 breaths. Taking those nice inhales and nice exhales. Maybe breathing into that diaphragm. Taking another nice inhale, maybe adding some softness on that exhale. Breathing in, and on that exhale, returning the feet to a nice neutral position. Maybe gently pressing into the feet, really pressing that low back into whatever you're using. And getting that nice feedback. Feel how that core engages. I'm going to release my hands here. If you're using your fists, let's press on up, coming off of your fists, and just pressing that low back nice and strong into the mat. If you have a nice sturdy prop that you're pretty comfortable in, go ahead and just leave it there. But for this one, you might need your hands available for it. And so I'm pressing into my feet, pressing that low back in nice and strong. And then I'm going to start to bring one leg in. Maybe you grab onto it. Next leg in, bringing knees in towards chest, little reclined child's pose. You might notice that your knees just naturally came in farther because you have that little raise of the hips, just kind of working with some things there. So option 1 is to hang out here. Option 2, maybe you start to extend those feet up a little bit higher, coming into a nice supported waterfall. Starting to stretch a little bit through the hamstrings, getting through the back line of the legs, of the body. I like to add a nice flex to my feet here, extending the heels up nice and tall, really getting into that stretch. But even as I'm doing so, I still have a little bend to my legs here. So that's just the tightness of my hamstrings. If you're fully able to open up and extend the legs straight and that's comfortable for you, you're welcome to do so. I'm going to keep just a gentle bend in. I'm going to keep my hands on the back of the legs. I love to add a little movement in, so I'm going to add a little pulse here. That might find me some extra openness. And this is also a great thing to do if you have a band or a stretch. So instead of holding onto the back of the knees, if you kind of lax through the feet, right around the balls of the feet or into the arches, that'll give you that nice feedback in the feet, almost like you were standing in on the ground. So if you have a strap and you want to try it, mine was real handy, so I went for it. Or even if you've got real long arms and you want to reach for your toes, the great toe, you're welcome to do so. This band is not ideal. It's super stretchy. It's not very stiff. So I don't know. That's why I don't often use it in class, but this is a great opportunity. If you have something to tie up, a house coat works really well, a scarf works good, a towel. Don't gotta be picky with it. It doesn't have to be an official yoga prop. So I really like this because now I'm getting lots of low back connection because I have the weight of my legs pressing in gently there. I've got some length happening on the back line of my legs. You can point and flex through the feet if you want a little ankle movement. And having the feet above the body kind of returns the blood towards that torso. This is very restorative, very relaxing for the body. Does all sorts of things for, I forget the hormone. I want to say serotonin, but that's not the right word. It's just very relaxing for the body. You'll just have to trust me on that one. It's very good. There's a legs up the wall position in a lot of restorative classes, which I'd love to do a wall class. Maybe we'll have to set up for that next week or later this week. I'll throw it in the description when I write the little preamble for the following day class that we'll do an up the wall class. Really nice on those restorative days like this. And then option to always play around. So if you're just holding on to the back of the knees, it's really fun to bring the legs nice and wide. Maybe you keep drawing the legs over the body. Not doing wide leg on camera, but it feels nice for those inner thighs. Look at that. You can still get a shoulder stretch in here. This is great. Nice little supportive waterfall. This was what I wanted all morning. I was thinking about this all last night and today. I couldn't wait for this. Beautiful. Taking another nice inhale. Nice full exhale. And then starting to come back towards neutral. I'm going to release my strap. Coming out of this slow and with control. So maybe you just bring the knees back in towards the chest, giving them a nice big squeeze. And then starting to plant one foot down. And then the next. And planting the feet nice and firm. Take that inhale. Lengthen, exhale, press into the feet. Let this motion come through, stabilizing through the feet, lifting the hips just enough to remove that prop that you have, and ever so slowly, one vertebrae at a time, and come down as slow as possible, feeling like that spine is melting in towards the mat, maybe even sinking into the floor. So good. Let's counter that nice back bend that we got into by hugging the knees in towards the chest again. And then lifting the head, trying to lift the shoulders. Even if you lift them off the ground, that's great. If you want to bring them in, connecting forehead to knees. And then let's lower the head and the shoulders back down, feeling that nice connection with the spine. Let's reach on through the knees for either the ankles, the back of the knees. Maybe you reach for the big toe or the feet. Coming into our nice little happy baby, feet go up towards the ceiling, knees draw in towards the body. Take that nice inhale breath and exhale. Maybe you reset the spine by actively pulling into the feet, kicking into the hands, extending the head nice and long. Head might even float up off the ground. And then take a few moments to play around with a bit of movement. Maybe you want a little freestyle, maybe there's something specific you want to get into. What is your body craving before we get into our nice little Shavasana? I feel like I want another little twist. So I'm going to reach my arms out wide like a T. Drop my knees towards one side. Just real simple. Little rotation through the spine. Maybe gaze goes in opposite direction. You don't have to follow along. If you'd rather be doing something else, go right ahead. This is just my freestyle, but I thought I'd cue it and let you guys know what I'm doing. Releasing head to neutral, knees swinging up and over towards the opposite side. Dropping in. Nice twist. Oh, it feels so good. Beautiful. We're releasing my neck, legs swing up, and then making your way, whenever you're ready, into that final Shavasana. Maybe your legs are extended long. Maybe you keep the feet planted. Maybe you do a little cobbler pose. Whatever you prefer. Just start to get real nice and comfy. I'm going to roll up to seated, just so that I can continue to guide you all without getting too wild and crazy. And start to feel that nice connection into the body. And start to notice the difference some stretch, some movement has taken on the body. Take a nice big inhale breath and notice the movement of breath throughout the body. Exhale, let it go. Take two more of those. Big inhale breath, breathing in nice and deep, breathing into that diaphragm, into that abdomen area. Exhale, release. Another nice inhale. Let it go. Relaxing through those shoulders. And starting to relax through the entirety of the body. Maybe starting at the top. Starting to relax through the head, and through the jaw. The tongue relaxes. Even the nose relaxes. Relaxing that little space between the eyebrows, not furrowing the brow. And start to notice the neck, starting right in at the skull, that first vertebrae, all the way down. Can you invite a little bit of softness in? Feeling that nice connection. Moving all the way down the spine. Maybe notice the spine where the shoulders are at. Maybe you feel where the rib cage is at along the back. All the way down towards the tailbone, that sacrum and pelvis area. And starting to just relax and melt inward. Feeling oh so good. Noticing through the shoulders, the collarbone, the front of the body. And can you relax a little bit through there? Relaxing the tops of the shoulders, the backs of the shoulders, all the way down the left arm. Nice and soft. You feel the elbow not holding any tension. The hands are relaxed. Maybe even the fingers curl in ever so slightly. Noticing all the way down the right arm. Starting at the shoulders, so nice and soft. No tension through the bicep or tricep. Elbow is soft. Palms relaxed, fingers curling in. And starting to notice through the hips. Maybe notice the back of the hips pressing in towards the floor. Maybe you start to notice the front of the hips, those hip flexors starting to release a little bit of tension, feeling gravity just gently pull and find a little bit of openness. Starting to track down that left leg, soft at the hip, all the way through the thigh, the quad and the hamstring, the knee socket itself, and all those tendons around the knee. Just simply melt, releasing any tension. The shin, the calf, so soft. The ankle relaxed. Maybe even the foot falling outward. Most neutral position for the body. Toes holding no tension. Feet soft. And then starting to notice the right leg, starting at the hip. The thigh is released, not squeezing any tension through the quad or the hamstring. Glutes are relaxed completely. And the knee is soft. The muscles around the knee release tension. No big squeezes, just softness. And the shin, the calf, nice and relaxed. Same with the ankle, the toes, the foot. All nice and soft. Taking a couple of moments to enjoy the stillness and the softness created throughout the body. Perhaps you take another inhale and an exhale to release, letting the abdomen be soft. And taking a few more breaths. And taking a nice big inhale, nice full exhale. Maybe you remember that intention you set at the beginning of class, simply scanning your practice, noticing, becoming aware, and perhaps you set an intention for the rest of your day. I will let you enjoy the stillness and silence that we've created here, taking as much time as you need in your Shavasana. I thank you so much for letting me guide you today in our yin yang class with a bit of movement and a whole lot of stretch and a little meditation or yoga nidra at the end. May the rest of your day be filled with moments of joy, and may you always be blessed. Thank you, and namaste.